The GAF Cobra hip vent provides a great-looking, easy-to-install solution for effective exhaust ventilation on homes with little or no ridge. The Cobra hip vent installation is similar to many of the GAF plastic ridge vents you install day in and day out. Let's take a look at the basics of Cobra hip vent installation. First, you will need to calculate the amount of attic ventilation required for the job. Information on calculating attic ventilation is included on the complete Cobra hip vent installation instructions. With the required attic ventilation calculated, begin by measuring 12 inches down from the peak or the top of the hip and cut a 2.5 inch wide by 36 inch long air slot centered over the hip. This should provide a 1/2 inch air slot on both sides of the hip rafter, re-nail or reinforce decking as needed. After the first hip air slot is cut, measure 12 inches down from the previous slot and cut a second 2.5 inch wide by 36 inch long air slot. Unlike cutting the air slot at the ridge, the hip air slots are not continuous. They are separated to maintain structural integrity at the hip areas of the roof. Ventilating the lower half of the hip can potentially act as an intake vent, so it is important to never cut air slots below the midpoint of the hip or less than 24 inches from the building's warm wall. With the hip air slots cut, move down to the bottom of the hip, nearest the eave, and install 2 cap shingles. With the inscribed "Towards Peak" arrows pointing up, use the 6-inch increment circular nail targets as a guide and fasten the Cobra hip vent with the included 1 3/4 inch coil nails. Longer hand nails may be required if the cap shingle is installed over extremely thick or pre-existing shingle. The vent must fit tight to the shingles below for maximum weather resistance. The recommended nail gun air pressure is 95 to 100 psi. However, this may need to be adjusted to prevent over or under driving of the nails. Continue installing the vent up the hip in a consistent fashion. Cut the final piece of hip vent to fit snugly with any adjacent hip vents. With the last piece of vent installed, cover all joints between adjacent hip vents and ridge vents with a 3-inch wide piece of GAF peel and stick leak barrier. For details on joining Cobra hip vent to a ridge vent, please see the complete Cobra hip vent installation instructions and use the template provided on the box. Finally, use the included 1 3/4 inch coil nails and follow the inscribed shingle nail zone on the top of the vent to align the cap shingles. For further product and installation information, please visit gaf.com or call 1-800-ROOF-411.